The day I returned home from my business trip, Jasper said he'd come pick me up and take me home. I waited in the airport terminal for a long time, only to receive a message from him. Something came up last minute, I can't come get you. As it turned out, while I was sitting in the taxi, I came across his childhood friend by Luna's social media post. In the photo, the man was wearing an engagement ring identical to mine. The caption read, "Thanks to brother Jasper for pretending to be my boyfriend to get me out of a blind date. Once upon a time, I would have flown into a rage and bombarded him with texts demanding an explanation. But this time I only left a comment, no need to pretend anymore." The day I took off my engagement ring, he got down on his knees and begged me. He said, "It's all my fault. Don't leave me." A week earlier, Jasper and I had made plans to go try on wedding dresses. I waited for ages, but he never showed up. I sat alone in the bridal shop, watching couples come in pairs, until the shop closed for the night. When I got home that evening, I saw by Luna's social media post. In the photo, the profile of a man driving a car had sharp, distinct features. The caption read, "Couldn't get a taxi in the suburbs. Lucky brother Jasper came to take me home." When Jasper got back that day, we had a huge fight. I screamed and demanded to know, is our wedding less important than by Luna not being able to get a taxi? But all he said softly was, "If that's what you want to think, I can't stop you." Then we fell into another Cold War, or rather a one-sided Cold War on Jasper's part. He didn't reply to my messages, didn't answer my calls, and even though we lived under the same roof, he acted as if I didn't exist. In this relationship, he always stood confidently on a pedestal, secure in the knowledge that I'd never leave. Over the years, nearly every fight we'd had ended with me apologizing. He could lose his temper with me without a second thought, but the moment I dared to question him, he'd stop talking to me until I apologized or until he forgave me. But before I could apologize that time, I got news from my company about a business trip. I was assigned to go to country E for a week. That week, work kept me so busy I didn't have the energy to try to appease Jasper. I didn't even have time to think about what had happened. The day before I flew back home, I received a message from Jasper. "I'll pick you up from the airport tomorrow. Wait for me." I knew he wanted to make up. The plane cut through the sky. I spent 14 hours cooped up in that enclosed space. When I got off the plane, I sent Jasper a message. "I'm here. Waiting for you." But instead of Jasper, all I got was his text. "Something came up last minute, I can't come get you." I glanced at it and didn't reply. I dragged my heavy suitcase through the huge airport alone. The luggage was so bulky and heavy that when I went down the stairs, I twisted my ankle. I limped into a taxi. While I was in the car, I scrolled to his childhood friend's social media post. In the photo, the man was wearing an engagement ring identical to mine. The caption read, "Thanks to brother Jasper for pretending to be my boyfriend to get me out of a blind date." Unlike before, when I would have bombarded him with messages demanding answers, I just quietly left a comment. No need to pretend anymore. It was already late at night when I got home. Jasper still wasn't back. I set down my luggage. My twisted ankle had swollen up badly. I endured the pain to take a shower, then climbed straight into bed. Having gone nearly 20 hours without sleep, I fell asleep quickly. In the middle of the night, I heard the bedroom door open. The lights turned on. Jasper was home. He stood by the bed looking at me with displeasure. Probably because I hadn't replied to his message saying, "Something came up last minute, I can't come get you." This was the first time our chat had ended with his message unanswered. The harsh light stung my eyes, forcing me to respond, "You're back." He frowned and clicked his tongue in annoyance, seemingly irritated by my unusual behavior. After all, I hadn't stayed up late waiting for him like I usually did. He flicked the light off, turned to leave, and soon the sound of him getting ready for bed in the bathroom filled the room. I drifted back to sleep. The next morning, Jasper seemed to want to make it up to me, saying he'd drive me to work. If he'd paid even a little attention to me, he would have noticed how awkwardly I was walking, how swollen my left ankle was. I'd messaged my company to take the day off to go to the hospital for my injury. As I ate breakfast, I replied, "No need to drive me." He suddenly grew angry, throwing out a "suit yourself," before walking away. When he left, he slammed the door shut in a fit of pique. After finishing breakfast, I lay back down to rest. I didn't go to the hospital until the afternoon. The doctor prescribed some medicine for my injury and kept reminding me to rest as much as possible and avoid standing for long periods. With a big bag of medicine in hand, I limped out of the hospital. 3 When I got home, the lights were on. Jasper was sitting on the sofa, his face dark with anger. To be honest, I had no idea what he was upset about. I went to the kitchen to start making dinner, ignoring him. I'd just opened the fridge when I heard footsteps behind me. I went to your company to pick you up, but your colleague said you took the day off. Where did you go if you weren't at work? I bent down, picked up the bag of medicine and set it on the table. I went to the hospital to get some medicine today. I twisted my ankle carrying my luggage when I got off the plane yesterday. Only then did he lower his gaze to my swollen ankle. His expression turned a little uneasy. Yesterday, Luna was being forced by her family to go on a blind date with a man 8 years older than her. She really couldn't find anyone else, so she asked me to. Before he could finish, I cut him off. It's okay, Jasper. You two grew up together, you should help her. He tried to say something more, but I pushed him out of the kitchen. I'm going to cook now. It'll get smoky in here. You should wait outside. I closed the kitchen door. This time I didn't make the spicy dishes he loved, most of the food was light. He loved spicy food, but I'd grown up in Southern City. Eating too much spice upset my stomach. But every time I cooked, I'd still make spicy dishes. Even when we ate out, we mostly chose Hunan cuisine. But today I suddenly craved something light. During dinner that night, he stared at the food on the table. Clara, why aren't there any spicy dishes today? I scooped a spoonful of tofu in clear soup into my bowl. I feel like eating something light today. If you want spicy food, I'll make it for you tomorrow. He suddenly asked, Clara, are you mad? I kept my head down and kept eating. No. I've always liked light food. When I looked up, I saw the shocked look on Jasper's face. It turned out he'd never even known I liked light food. Once upon a time, I would have gotten angry and started a big fight with him. But now I just found it funny. That night as we lay in bed, he pulled me into his arms and cooed, Are you going to work tomorrow? While your foot heals, I'll pick you up and drop you off every day. Once upon a time, hearing that would have made me happy. I would have hugged him back, kissed him and poured out my love for him. But this time I gently pulled myself out of his embrace without a trace. Okay. Thanks. I felt the body behind me stiffen, but I paid it no mind. That night I slept soundly. For the next day, as Jasper drove me to work, I sat in the passenger seat and wanted to touch up my lipstick. When I opened the visor mirror, a piece of paper fell out. There was a bright red lipstick mark on it. Jasper saw it and hurried to explain, I gave Luna a ride home the other day. She said she saw this done in a video and thought it would be fun to try. I touched up my lipstick while looking in the mirror. It does sound fun. I really don't have anything going on with her. You have to believe me. I finished touching up my lipstick, smiled at him in the mirror and said nothing. His expression darkened. You're not mad. Why would I be mad? I replied. It's normal to share something fun with a friend you grew up with. Before Jasper could say anything else to explain, I slipped the piece of paper back into the visor mirror. The rest of the drive to the office passed in silence. Just as I was about to get out, he grabbed my hand. I'll pick you up after work. Wait for me. I gently pulled my hand free. Okay. As I got out of the car, I ran into my boss. She teased, Your boyfriend's such a sweetheart. Driving you to work every day. Seeing how good your relationship is, I guess I really can't poach you after all. My boss was planning to start her own company and was short on staff for the new venture. I'd worked with her for years, so she'd offered me the first spot, even doubling my current salary. Her new company was in Southern City, my hometown. She'd thought I'd jump at the offer, but I'd turned it down at the time, saying I didn't want to be in a long-distance relationship with Jasper. Jasper had always wanted to settle in Northern City, calling it his dream city. So I'd never even considered living anywhere else. I smiled as I pressed the elevator button. Sister Zhang, if you poach me again right now, I'll definitely say yes. My boss thought I was joking. Come work with me. I'll double your salary and give you some stock options. You in? Absolutely. When do we head to Southern City? She stared at me in disbelief, like she'd heard something absurd. I repeated myself and she finally recovered. You're not staying in Northern City with your boyfriend anymore? I smiled. No. My life can't revolve around him forever. 5 That evening after work, a familiar black car was parked outside the office. I walked over, but before I could open the door, the passenger window rolled down and I saw Luna's face. He was sitting in the front seat looking at me. Sister Clara. Jasper Gu and I came to pick you up together today. I ignored her, reached for the back door and got in. Jasper, seeing me sit silently in the back, sounded nervous. Luna had a big fight with her family today. She happened to be near me, so I picked her up on the way. You're not mad, right? Before I could answer, Luna cut in. Jasper Gu, Sister Clara's such a nice person, she definitely won't be mad. He turned around and smiled. Right, Sister Clara? I smiled and looked out the window. Yeah. Nothing to be mad about. The whole drive, Luna chattered nonstop to Jasper while I sat quietly in the back reading the materials my boss had sent me. Jasper pulled up in front of a Hunan restaurant. Clara, let's eat out today. You must be tired after work, no need to cook for us at home. His tone sounded like a favor, and he'd clearly chosen the restaurant based on his and Luna's spicy food preference. Inside, Luna handed me the menu. Sister Clara, you've had a hard day. You order, get whatever you like. I took the menu and pointed randomly at a few dishes for the waiter. When the food arrived, there was steamed egg, pan-fried tofu, garlic shrimp, and preserved vegetable with pork belly. Out of the 7 or 8 dishes, not a single one was spicy. Both Luna and Jasper's expressions soured. Luna tugged at Jasper's sleeve. Jasper, go, why aren't there any spicy dishes? Doesn't Sister Clara know you love spicy food the most? Jasper turned to me. Clara, why do you order this? Don't you know our tastes? I picked up a shrimp and put it in my bowl. Luna said to order what I like, so I did. They had no good response to that. During the meal, Luna brought up the wedding dress incident again. Sister Clara, I'm so sorry about last time. I had to go to the suburbs for something and I couldn't get a taxi back. I was so scared I had to call Jasper Gu to pick me up. Once upon a time, hearing that would have made me storm out of the restaurant without finishing my meal. But now I just replied calmly, it's fine. Trying on wedding dresses isn't a big deal anyway. Sister Clara must look amazing in a wedding dress. I wish I could see it too. Then you can come with us next time, Luna, Jasper said. You studied fashion design, you can help Clara pick one out. Really, Jasper Gu? Let's go next Saturday. We'll all go together. They chatted back and forth, not even asking for my opinion, as if I were the outsider. It was the same as before. Once when Jasper and I were shopping at the mall, Luna showed up and I was left trailing behind them the whole time. I'd lost my temper and argued with him outside, but he just frowned and said, Luna's in a bad mood today. Why are you being so petty? I'm the one who's going to spend the rest of my life with you. Can't you stop nitpicking over a few hours? Even when a shop assistant said they looked like a couple, Jasper had just smiled and said nothing to correct it. And now it was happening again. I said casually, we'll see. I might not be free that day. Jasper's tone turned annoyed. It's the weekend. You don't work on weekends, how can you be busy? I thought about my plans to go to Southern City with Sister Zhang. Before I left, I needed to resign from my current job, familiarize myself with the new business, and build relationships with some clients. I'd probably have to work on weekends, taking clients out to dinners or giving gifts. But I didn't want to tell Jasper the truth. I made up an excuse. The company has foreign clients coming at the end of the month. I need to finish the proposal and PPT in advance, and there will be a lot of revisions. I'll probably have to work overtime on the weekend too. Once I'd been so excited about anything related to our wedding, I'd even wanted to design the greeting cards myself. The day we went to pick a venue, I'd even asked for time off work just to fit Jasper's schedule. But now, using work as an excuse to say I wasn't sure, I could see Jasper's face darken. In the end, he just picked up the bill. I'll go pay. When we got home, Jasper couldn't hold back his frustration. Clara, are you still mad about me leaving you at the bridal shop last time? It was an emergency. Luna was alone in the suburbs. What if something bad had happened to her? I smiled. I'm not mad, Jasper. You don't have to explain. His expression turned even grumpier. I quickly gave in to avoid more trouble. I'll go if I'm free on Saturday. Once I'd hung at him to avoid fights, scared of making him unhappy. Now I just did it because arguing with him felt like a waste of time. 6 on Saturday, Jasper sent me a message. Clara, I'm at the bridal shop now. Come over when you're free. I was in the middle of a dinner with a client discussing a new bid. I replied, I really can't make it today. Let's reschedule. By the time the dinner ended, it was already night. As I sat in the taxi home, I saw Luna's social media post again. In the photo, Luna was wearing a white wedding dress, linking arms with a man. I knew it was Jasper. I'd been with him for 8 years and I knew every little thing about him. The caption read, finally got to experience wearing a wedding dress. A Jasper chin. Jasper had liked the post. Dozens of people who didn't know the truth commented, wishing them a long and happy relationship. This had happened countless times before. Every time I'd gotten into a huge fight with him, but he'd just frown and blame me for overreacting. It's not like I can control what other people say. Luna just posted a photo, those people are just messing around. But this time I just left a quiet comment. You two look perfect together. When I opened the door, I saw Jasper sitting silently on the sofa, staring at me. I knew he was waiting for me to apologize and comfort him. He had that Cold War look on his face. But I just walked past him and into the bathroom. Honestly, a Cold War with him right now wasn't a bad thing. It would let me focus on my work. Once I finished everything and confirmed the date I'd leave for Southern City, it would be time to break up with him. 2 days later, I was working overtime at the office when Jasper called. The second I picked up, his voice, sharp with accusation, came through the receiver. Why aren't you home yet? Where are you? Why haven't you sent me a single message? This was the first time Jasper had called me during a Cold War in all these years. Once I'd always taken the initiative to update him on my schedule no matter what, and had dinner ready for him the second he walked in the door. In fact, I'd once bombarded him with the same questions he was asking me now. But he'd always just brushed me off. I don't check up on you. Why do you need to check up on me so much? Can't I have some space to myself? Do you have nothing better to do than revolve around me? Once I'd even heard him tell his friend, so annoying, she's always asking where I am. Later, when I called too much, he'd start rejecting my calls. And when that got annoying, he'd block me. Thinking about that, I replied coldly, I'm working overtime at the office. I've been too busy to send you a message. Sorry. There was a long silence on the other end. Then he said, I'll come pick you up later. It's too late for you to be out alone, it's not safe. No need. Before I could finish, Jasper hung up. When I got off work and walked downstairs, that familiar black car was still there. I opened the door and got in, saying nothing. I leaned back in the seat and closed my eyes to rest. The air in the car was so quiet you could hear our breathing. Once I'd always tried to make small talk with him, but it had always ended with him saying, Stop distracting me while I'm driving. The ring of a phone broke the heavy silence. Ring ring, it was Jasper's phone. The caller ID read Luna. He glanced at me and hung up. But seconds later it rang again. Ring ring, he reached for it, ready to hang up again, but I grabbed the phone first, swiped to answer it and handed it to him. He froze for a moment before taking it. Luna's voice, slurred with tears and alcohol, filled the car through the speaker. I drank too much. My friends all left already. I'm so scared, Jasper Goo. Can you come pick me up? Jasper looked at me. I'll get you a taxi. Luna refused to give up. Taking a taxi at night isn't safe. There are so many news stories about it. Jasper Goo, can't you really come get me? Jasper stared at me like he was waiting for me to say something. I knew what he was thinking. This wasn't the first time Luna had called him at midnight asking for a ride. Several times, it had even been while he was driving me home. Back then, he'd drop me off at a convenience store about 1 kilometer from our house and make me walk the rest of the way alone. We'd fought about it before, of course. Luna's in danger, but it's not dangerous for me to walk home alone at midnight. He'd just snap at me to get out. It's only 1 kilometer, what could happen? You're being ridiculous. Do you really need to compare yourself to Luna? This time I gathered my things. It's fine. Drop me off at the usual spot. But he shook his head. Clara, I'll take you home first. It's not safe at night. I smiled. I can walk back alone. It's only 1 kilometer, what could happen? He froze like he recognized those words. In the end, he still dropped me off at the convenience store. Before I got out, he grabbed my hand. Wait for me at home. I'll be back soon. It was already 10 o'clock when I got home. I took a shower and planned to go straight to bed. I had no intention of waiting for Jasper. I had to fly to Southern City with Sister Zhang early the next morning. The handover for my resignation was almost done, and I'd smoothed things over with the clients here. Several of them had even said they'd try giving Sister Zhang's new company some projects. All that was left was to take care of some initial work in Southern City. Once that was done, I'd move back there for good within half a month at the latest. I slept soundly that night. When I woke up the next morning, Jasper still wasn't home. I opened my phone and saw dozens of messages from him. Luna's really drunk. I can't leave her alone. I won't be coming home tonight. Go to bed early. Don't wait up for me. Looking at the timestamps around 3 a.m., I thought, once I would have waited up for him all night, then cried alone when I saw these messages. I replied with a casual okay, then made breakfast. I made 2 portions. After eating mine, I put the other in the fridge, left a sticky note on the table, then grabbed my luggage and headed to the airport. The next few days in Southern City were busy. I ran around from place to place nonstop. It was tiring but fulfilling. I even forgot Jasper existed for a while. In my free time, I went home to see my parents. They were overjoyed to see me. My mom cooked a whole table of my favorite dishes and kept piling food onto my plate until it looked like a mountain. Clara, you haven't been home in so long. Mom missed you so much. Eat more, honey. You've lost weight. My dad went into his room and came back with a small box. He handed it to me. Clara, you haven't been home these years, so I saved all the birthday gifts I bought for you in here. Surrounded by their love, I couldn't hold back. Mom, Dad. I'm not going to marry Jasper Chin. I'll move back to Southern City next week. I'd expected them to ask questions, but my mom just took my hand, tears in her eyes. Claire, coming back is good. Then Mom can see you every day. My dad just patted my head and said nothing. A wave of guilt washed over me. All these years I'd ignored the people closest to me because of Jasper. I flew back on a night flight. As soon as I turned on my phone, a dozen missed calls popped up, all from Jasper. I called him back. His voice came through the receiver immediately. Clara, did you forget what today is? My mind went blank. The first thought that crossed my mind was, I'll be packing my things to move to Southern City next week. Clara, today's our 8th anniversary. I froze, then apologized quickly. Oh no. I'm so sorry. It's my fault. I'll come home right away. We can celebrate together, okay? Once I'd never forgotten our anniversary. Every year I'd take the day off and spend hours preparing a surprise. Last year I'd put a down payment on an apartment in Northern City. I'd hidden the contract inside a Lego house I'd spent days building, then ordered flowers, a cake, and even champagne. I'd wanted to say to him, Jasper, we have a home of our own now. But I waited for him late into the night and he never came. When I called him, loud music blared in the background. I'm out eating with Luna. What's wrong? I clenched my fist. Did you forget today's our anniversary? Oh. I would have forgotten if you hadn't mentioned it. So what? Why aren't you home? Isn't our anniversary more important than eating with Luna? He sounded annoyed. I'm tired. I don't want to fight. Jasper Chin. I screamed into the phone. I spent all day preparing a surprise for you. It's been so many years. Do we still need to celebrate this? We see each other every day. Celebrating stuff like this is just childish. I held back my tears. So you're not coming home tonight, are you? Oh, Jasper, go. I'm so sorry. I didn't know today was your anniversary with Sister Clara. Luna's voice came through the phone. The next second the call was cut off. Jasper didn't come home that night. I smashed the Lego house to pieces and drank the entire bottle of champagne alone. There was a long silence on the other end of the line. You really forgot? I sighed, exhausted. It's been so many years. We celebrate it every year. Missing one isn't a big deal. It was the first time he'd ever cooked for me. Once he'd only cooked for Luna. He'd said it was normal to cook for his little sister, since they'd grown up together. If I'd complained, he'd just frown. Can't you cook? Do you expect me to cook for you after we're married? But he'd cooked for other people, just never for me. It was ironic that I was finally eating his cooking now when I'd already decided to leave. We sat at the table and ate. Jasper spoke up. Clara, I prepared a surprise for you. About our wedding. Just then the doorbell rang. I went to answer it and saw Luna's face. She looked surprised when she saw me. Sister Clara, you're back? You've been away so much lately and I saw Jasper was swamped alone. I've been helping you two prepare for the wedding. He handed me a folder. Inside were plans for everything from the wedding venue to even the greeting cards. But not a single thing had been chosen by me, and no one had even discussed any of it with me. I took the folder. So this was the surprise he'd been talking about. I smiled. I don't think I'll be needing any of this. When Jasper heard that, his eager expression turned to panic. Clara, what do you mean by that? Luna chimed in too. Sister Clara, is it because you don't like what I picked? As she spoke, there was a faint look of triumph on her face. True to form, she pretended to look helpless and grabbed Jasper's sleeve. I remained unmoved. Seeing that, Jasper hit Luna's hand abruptly. As if to prove something, he said sharply, Luna, did I ask you to help with this? Can't you stop showing up at my house uninvited? Luna looked stunned. She tried to say something else, but Jasper dragged her to the door and pushed her out without another word. 11 This was the first time I'd ever seen Jasper snap at Luna. After all, he'd always taken her side when it came to me and her. I watched this farce, fighting back a laugh. I can't marry you, Jasper Chin. He looked frantic. He stepped forward and grabbed my hand. Claire, you must be joking. You can't mean this seriously. I pulled my hand free, took off the engagement ring and set it on the table. Jasper. Before I could finish, he pulled me into a tight hug. Clara, is this about the wedding? Next time I'll wait for you to decide everything. Don't do this to me. I know you're mad. I know I was wrong. Don't leave me. I smiled and sighed. I'm not mad. Really. But he hugged me even tighter. Is it because I'm too close to Luna? Or because I forgot our anniversary? Or because I never took the time to learn what you like? Clara, I'm sorry. Just tell me what's wrong, I'll fix it. I'll change. I found it ironic. After a long moment, I sighed softly. Jasper Chin, you see? You've always known where you went wrong. He loosened his arms around me, his face filled with remorse. To my shock, he dropped to his knees in front of me. I'm sorry. Clara, can you forgive me one last time? I took a deep breath. Let's end this amicably, Jasper. There's no need to go through this again. When he heard that, his emotions spiraled out of control. I don't believe it. Clara, you must be upset about what happened tonight. Just get some rest. We'll talk about this in a few days. He picked up the ring from the table and slipped it back onto my finger. Then, as if fleeing from something, he grabbed his jacket and hurried toward the door. At the doorway, he turned back suddenly. Clara, think about it again. With that, he left. 12 He didn't come home for the next few days, but I received messages from him every day. On the first day, he sent a photo of a stray dog on the street, saying he'd always wanted to get a dog with me. On the second day, he sent a photo of the sunset, saying we used to watch sunsets together and he missed those times. On the third day, he said he'd set Luna up on a blind date and even talked to her parents, insisting she had to get married this year. I didn't reply, but he kept sending me updates about his life anyway. It was just like how I'd chased after him once. He seemed to think that as long as I still wore the engagement ring, we were still together. But relationships don't work that way. Staying together takes two people's consent, but breaking up only takes one. So whether Jasper came back or not, I packed up all my things. I shipped most of them back to Southern City, leaving the house so empty it was like I'd never lived there. I took off the ring and set it on the table, leaving a note next to it. Then I grabbed my suitcase and headed to the airport. 13 The plane cut through the clouds. As I watched the small map on the seatback show us getting farther and farther from Northern City, I felt a huge weight lift off my shoulders. As soon as I got off the plane, I saw my parents holding a big sign with my name on it. I felt a wave of emotion. Over the years, Jasper had picked me up from the airport only a handful of times, but my parents had always been there, waiting to take me home. With that thought, I ran over and hugged them tightly. 14 A few days later, Jasper finally realized I wasn't coming back. He bombarded me with messages begging for forgiveness. I'm sorry, Clara. I really was wrong. Come back, please. Where are you? Let me pick you up and take you home, okay? More and more messages poured in. Finally, I couldn't take it anymore. I blocked him. In that moment, I suddenly understood what he'd been thinking when he'd blocked me before. It was true annoyance. True indifference. True lack of affection. 15 After blocking Jasper, the world felt quiet again. No more random phone calls, no more non-stop messages flooding my inbox. In Southern City, I was busy with the new company's business every day. Hard work pays off. Soon the company was on track and I didn't have to work overtime every night anymore. One day I got home early for a change. But when I reached the neighborhood, I saw Jasper standing downstairs. His beard looked unshaven and he looked exhausted. When he saw me, he rushed over and grabbed my hand. "Clara, come back with me." I'd never expected Jasper to track me down to Southern City, or to wait for me outside my parents' apartment. When he saw I wasn't speaking, he gripped my hand tighter. "Clara, I couldn't find you, so I waited at your company. But your colleague said you quit. I asked so many people before I found out you were in Southern City. I went to your parents' house to find you, but your dad chased me away with a broom. I'm sorry, Clara. I really know I was wrong. Come back with me." To be honest, this was the first time Jasper had ever talked to me this much on his own. Once, I'd always been the one begging for reconciliation, the one rambling on to save our relationship. Now I finally realized how ridiculous I'd been back then. I pulled my hand free without a word. "We've broken up. I won't come back with you and I won't marry you." In that instant his face turned ashen. His hand hung in the air, frozen for a long time. "Jasper Chin, we were together for 8 years, from when we were students until we were talking about marriage. All those years, I really did want to build a home with you. I always centered my life around you, revolved around you, but you thought that was annoying. After today you'll be free. And so will I." He stepped forward again, grabbing my hand in a last-ditch effort. "I was wrong. I want to build a home with you too. I want a future with you." I smiled softly. "It's too late, Jasper Chin. We won't have a future together, but we'll each have our own futures." His hand dropped from mine. He stood there like a lifeless puppet, drained of all energy. In the end, I couldn't bring myself to be cruel. "Jasper, we've known each other for so long. Let's move forward. I still hope you'll be happy." With that, I turned and walked away. This time Jasper didn't chase after me, but I heard him crying. It was the first time I'd ever heard Jasper cry. His sobs were hoarse and broken. But it no longer had anything to do with me. My future would no longer include him. The end.